OM Jesus, boys, girls, in-betweens, how you doing? Red Gambit here, and I want to talk a little bit more about V-Shift. We did a video a couple days ago on V-Shift, and that was when the news of it had just dropped, and I really feel like at the time, no one had really had a chance to actually codify their thoughts and really see the implications for the entire game, and that's what I've had the last couple of days to do, and I've talked about it with other people. And what I wanted to do now is really just get everything kind of down, because there's some big implications that I don't think I really covered in that last video that need to go into, and even in the one about Jury's V-Trigger too, because there's other things, it affects everything. It's so big and girthy and thick that I really don't think that I appreciated it as much at the time, and I've only really had a chance to get to sink in now, I guess. So the biggest thing is that we don't know everything about it at the moment, obviously, and that affects what it can do with the game. A lot of people are trying to figure out whether it's invincible from frame one, because that's going to be the biggest deal, right? Because if this is a move which is, we know it's fully invincible, but we don't know if it's fully invincible from frame one. If it is, it's gonna change everything, because it changes pressure fundamentally. That's the biggest thing, right? Because you have characters, at least half the roster in this game doesn't really have a wake-up option, aside from Wake Up Super. You know, one of the best things about fighting Bison is that even though Bison or G or Honda or any other character like that who has big damage, or big rushdown possibilities, maybe not so much Honda, but definitely G and Bison, is that, okay, I get that knockdown, it's my turn, right? The only thing I really gotta worry about is if they have full bar, they might risk the Wake Up Super, or they're gonna do a V-Reversal and Wake Up, in which case I grab it. And now, if that's invincible from frame one, they have an opportunity to punish a Wake Up meaty, effectively. That if you go for your Wake Up meaty, they're just gonna backdash out of it and stomp you for it. That's a big deal. That's a very, very big deal, because suddenly characters who had that one very, very clear weakness now have a defensive option to get out of that. And potentially, depending on how V-Shift and V-Break works, we don't know, is V-Break going to be negative on block? Is it going to be negative enough that they can be punched on block? That's a big question, and we don't know the answer, unfortunately. I think everyone is dying to know just what the data on this is going to be. I would think that V-Break, at the very least, will be minus on block. Making that plus would be insane. But how minus? Is it going to be -2? Is it going to be more than -2? That's the real question. And even if it's not, if you just go for a regular cancel out attack, the opportunity, the implications are just too mind-boggling. And I know this is a little bit of a rant video. I'm kind of freestyling this as I go. I don't really have any notes written down, just because I wanted to get this out there. I wanted to get people's thoughts on this. So, 'cause it's so exciting, and it's so new, and there's so much it can affect in this game. It's crazy. And the other thing about it that is really insane, which I hadn't pondered at the time of making the last video, is the fact that it's going to really hurt. V-Shift is a tool which I think is going to really help characters who are naturally defensive, and it's really going to hurt characters who are naturally offensive, right? Because what it means is that plus frames are no longer guaranteed pressure. That's a big deal. Because at any given point, characters like Akuma or Laura or anyone else who gets in and starts woofing on buttons that are +1, +2, or even in some cases +3 or more, when you see those buttons and you know the frame data for them, you no longer have to worry about trying to veer. One of the most frustrating things about fighting Mika, right? You fight Mika, she gets knocked down, puts you in the corner. On Wake Up, what's she gonna do? Crouching Fierce Punch, obviously, because it's massively plus on block. You can't V-reverse Crouching Fierce Punch. I think it's Crouching Fierce Punch. It's that big upcut that she does with a fist. I'm pretty sure that's Crouching Fierce. Right, you can't V-reverse that because she's so plus on that move that if you V-reverse it, she can just block it and keep hammering you. It's crazy. And more than that, it's obviously a combo starter as well for her, so it's virtually no risk to Mika when she knocks you down with that. Or Akuma, you know, crouching fierce punch, +2. It's insane. It's one of those few moves that has very good reach on it. It causes crush counter, it causes crumple state, and it's plus on block. It's crazy good. And these are all moves which are no longer going to be a free gateway to pressure like they were before. And now, I know what you're thinking to yourself. You're thinking, well, you know, I'm a Jury fan, obviously, I'm on this channel. That's a good thing, right? Because you no longer have to worry about this kind of stuff. You now have an option to escape or even punish it. And it's like, yeah, you do, but at the same time, this actually also hurts Jury in ways that I hadn't thought of before. Because I spent a good 10-15 minutes in my last video dunking on V-Trigger 2, right? Because we all know it's terrible. It just actually, Event Hubs just did a survey with the best and worst V-Triggers in the game, and in terms of the worst V-Trigger, Jury's V-Trigger 2 won by a country mile. It won by like twice as many votes as what was in position 2. So if you thought I was, that, you know, your old pal Red didn't know what he was talking about, apparently everyone else agrees. So that in itself is crazy. But you think about this, if what I'm saying here is correct and true, then characters who have pressure-based V-Triggers, like Jury's V-Trigger 1, suddenly that becomes a problem for them as well, because if you're using strings that have frame traps in them, then guess what? The frame traps can be V-shifted. And that's a problem for Jury and V-Trigger 1. It's a problem for other characters as well, obviously. It's a problem for G and Maximum President. But it's, you know, there's plenty of other characters who are going to have problems with this as well. So any pressure-based V-Trigger, all of a sudden, is going to have to really be very careful about when they use it. They're going to have to keep an eye on your V-meter, because if you've got a block to spare, there's a potential there for you to be able to punish that, which to me is crazy. So that by itself, because this is going to shift the meta big time. I said that before when I made the V-Shift video. It is going to change the meta a lot. It may, in fact, just by sheer virtue of the fact that it punishes pressure-based V-Triggers, it might make V-Trigger 2 actually better up for Jury, because V-Trigger 2 is a one-and-done V-Trigger. And those are the V-Triggers that are going to get stronger in this game, I think. It's going to hurt pressure-based ones, and it's going to buff V-Triggers that don't rely on pressure, that don't rely on strings. They just hit you, they get their damage, and they're done. So it's, yeah, this isn't even everything. Obviously, there's still more implications to this. It's crazy. That's why when I made that video, like, this is a big deal, and there's people in comments are like, it's not that big a deal. Yeah, it'll be fine. No, it's a big fucking deal. It's crazy, and I'm still excited. I still really am excited to see what this is going to do for the game in terms of shaking things up, because I think it's going to shake it up maybe in ways that even Capcom didn't predict. But that said, it's like the idea that it's going to potentially make V-Trigger 1 worse for Jury is insane to me, because it's the one that I've always used. And I've always, like I said, dunked on V-Trigger 2, and it's like, well, now all of a sudden, what am I going to do if I'm fighting a character who has, like, if you're fighting someone who has a 3-bar V-Trigger, and then sitting on 3 bars, you're going to be fucking terrified to use V-Trigger 1 with Jury, aren't you? Because they're going to nail you for it if they know where the gaps are. So, it's insane. I don't know. I really just want more information. I really, really do, to know, like, what is the startup on this? What is the recovery on this? What options do we have? Because if it's fully invincible from frame 1, that's going to be a big problem for offensive characters. So, that's it. That's all I had. Like I said, this is a little bit stream consciousness. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have more thoughts, if there's anything else that I've missed, if there's anything else that hasn't occurred to me yet, let me know in the comments below. But in the meantime, kisses, hugs, and belly rubs. I will see all of you very soon.